Draft day is here. Today is the NFL draft first round. And welcome back to our final mock draft of the 2024 NFL offseason. The path to the draft has been a fun one. 10 mock drafts already. Here is number 11. And after doing some, just really thinking about it and looking through everything, here's my final mock draft. Now, I'm really hoping to look through my 11 mock drafts and hope that maybe one of them's really, really good and really, really accurate. But throughout the long time of making these, I've finally been able to compile my final one, which will be the one I make today. This will be posted about maybe 2 hours before the draft. So you can't tell me it was that I just did it afterwards. So without further ado, make sure to subscribe if you're coming back to my content, if you enjoy it. And let's just hop right into this with pick number 1. Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams. Nothing much to say there other than he's already thinking about who he wants his team to pick at number 9. He would love to go, the guy he grew up with pretty much, Fashanu, Olu Fashanu at 9. Odunze at 9, I think would be a great pick for him as well. But we'll have to really see what happens and what pans out. But anyways, we'll get into that later. At the number 2 pick, we have the Washington Commanders, who rumors maybe trade. I don't think they're going to trade at all, no. And there's things, maybe they go Drake May, maybe they go Daniels. In this situation, I still am going to stick with it. Jaden Daniels is the number 2 overall pick in the draft. 2 back-to-back Heisman winners at 1 and 2. Now, I picked Daniels at number 2 because I still just think he's the better fit for Washington. Drake May's a great player, but for Washington's play style, what they're going to try and attack with Kingsbury is going to work to Jaden Daniels' liking more. Now, people think he might be a bust and whatnot, but I just think drafting him, would be a big thing for them. So, Jaden Daniels, number 2, and I think he's the best prospect for him when it comes to what they want to do next year. Now, at number 3 to the Patriots, Patriots still said that the trade offers they've gotten so far are laughable. So, the trade is still on the board. This one, I've been doing trades, I think the last 2 ones for them. This one, I will not be trading. I will be keeping them at pick number 3, getting themselves their quarterback, Drake May. Now, I really do see there's a chance where the Giants try to swap with them to get Drake May, because the Giants really do like quarterback in this draft. And a lot of the quarterbacks in this draft are very, very appealing to a lot of teams. And the Giants are one of those teams who have said they like Drake May. They would like J.J. McCarthy. So, but Drake May sticks with the Patriots at 3. No Michael Penix, no Bo Nix in the second round, something like that. Drake May, number 3. Now, at number 4 to the Cardinals, the GM said, act like he lives in this beautiful house and he loves the house, but someone came up to his door and gave him an offer he could not resist. He's going to say, pack your bags, we're leaving this house. However, I don't think he's going to find an offer that he can't resist, because he has Marvin Harrison Jr. still available on the draft board, who's going to go number 4 to the Arizona Cardinals. And the reason he is going to do this is because Kyler needs his guy, and that's the guy they can do for him. They can get for him is MHJ. Why? Yes, Malik Neighbors is great. Odunze is great. You could trade, to 11. You'd probably miss out on all 3 of those guys. You have to draft someone at 27 or even trade up at 27. Trade shortly from 4 to 6 and miss out on MHJ from the Chargers and get Malik Neighbors at 6. But I don't know. I just think the MHJ is literally it's so hard to pass up on a guy like that. And if the Cardinals were to do that, I would not be able to look at the team and be like, what were you guys thinking? What were you guys thinking trading back to 12 and letting the Broncos go get like JJ at 4, or trading back to 11, 20, 23, having 3 first-round picks would be a great idea. But then you don't get yourself that solidified wide receiver. I mean, that's the only circumstance where if they get 11 and 23 and they have 11, 23, 27, I think they could honestly try and trade back up into the first top 10. Maybe trade with, one of these teams. I don't know, but There's going to be some trades we see tonight that I don't have on this final mock draft that I had on the other mock drafts. And yes, this one has a little bit different. No top 10 trades. I think I want to solidify these top 10 guys. There's going to be a top 10 trade, in my opinion, in this draft. This mock draft, however, no top 10 trade. But Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Cardinals at 4. Now at number 5, this time, Chargers finally are not trading back. I saw one where they said the Chargers are going to trade back with the Broncos, which, first off, divisional rival, may I say. Secondly, no. Why would they trade back to 12 when a team like Minnesota could be like, hey, you give us your 2 first-round picks, like a second next year, that's a deal, you know? You could see a lot of things, but I'm going to stick them at 5 here, say they don't get any offers. Malik Neighbors to the Los Angeles Chargers, getting Mr. Herbert his weapon, and that is such a key thing to do for the Chargers, is get Malik Neighbors on that squad and get him as a wide receiver for Herbert. I know they like to run the football. Joe Alt is very much a possibility at number 5, but you got to be able to give Herbert some options in the field. You know, they could trade back, get Bowers at 11, but I don't think Bowers even comes out of the top 10. If he does, he goes to 15 at Indianapolis. In this case, you'll see what happens with the way that this draft goes. But that is what I'll do there, is Malik Neighbors 5 to the Chargers. Now, at number 6 to the Giants. Giants fans, you're gonna hate me. But J.J. McCarthy drafted to the Giants. Now, Daniel Jones has the contract. Technically, there's an opt-out year after this season, so they can tell him, goodbye, see you later. Draft J.J. McCarthy, develop him a little bit. And the thing is he came out and he's been saying the team that he has been talking to a lot is the Giants. Talked to them a ton. He said if he were to make a guess, he would say it would be the Giants that draft him tonight. So I'm going to believe the kid. I'm not going to call it a smokescreen. I can't really call him a kid. He's older than me. Why am I calling him a kid? But McCarthy, 6 to the Giants. I think it's very possible a team trades up for McCarthy, like the Vikings, Broncos, maybe even the Raiders. In my opinion, the right pick at 6 is Rome Odunze. Do I think the Giants make that pick? No, I think they go ahead and they draft J.J. McCarthy at number 6. But Odunze is very much in the opportunity, the bubble of opportunity, the bubble of chance, Now at number 7 of the Titans, it's going to stay the same. Joe Alt to the Tennessee Titans. Just protect Will Levis, protect Will Levis, protect Will Levis. He is a giant of a man. I think he's 6'8", but his arms aren't that big for a tackle. But that's something I'm not too worried about with Joe Alt, because looking at his film, he's great. He was great at Notre Dame. So Joe Alt's going to go to the Tennessee Titans. Now at number 8 to the Falcons. D-line corner is their needs. This is a team I could also see trading with the Jets if the Jets really, 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 really want Rome Odunze. And I don't think they're going to really want him that badly, because I think there's good options at 10 for him. Yes, I think he is the best option available for the New York Jets, but I don't see the trade up happening to 8. But the Falcons, they were told us not to etch it in, not to mark it down, ink it down already at 8. I am going to. It's going to be Dallas Turner out of Alabama, number 8 to the Atlanta Falcons, their 3rd straight 8th overall pick, and they finally go defense with one. Last year I thought they would go defense with it, but they didn't go defense with it. They went offense route. They got Bijan, which was a great pick. And they go defense here, get a great edge rusher in Dallas Turner. So now at number 9 to the Bears. This has been such a hard draft spot for me. I mean, there's so many ways I could go here. Obviously, the obvious route is Odunze. You could go Olu Fashanu, who I just talked about. Caleb Williams would love to see him. It says it's not one of the team needs, but their tackle, other than Darnell Wright, average at best, could move him to guard, have Fashanu be the new tackle there. Maybe a Jared Verse, maybe a Latu. But in this case scenario, I just think Rome Odunze is still the best pick for him. I would not be surprised if they go, Fashanu at 9. But I think Odunze is a perfect pick for them. Caleb Williams seems to really like the guy. He talked about him on X a couple days ago. I saw him on my plane. I feel like they'd be a great connection that the Bears could build in the future. I think that's something they should do. And then they've got other picks. Maybe not until the third round, but you could get maybe a third round guy, offensive lineman wise, or a third round defensive lineman. Because you covered the quarterback thing. You got Caleb. Your wide receiver 3 in Rome Odunze, who really probably could play like the wide receiver 1 on that team, depending on how everything works out for him. But he's a great draft pick. I just think that's the right play for the Bears. Now at 10 to the Jets, they don't get their playmaker at wide receiver. What do? They get their playmaker at tight end. They draft Brock Bowers at number 10, and they get a tight end for Mr. Aaron Rodgers. With Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson as the wideouts. Wide receiver 3 is a shaky position, but I think when you have a guy like Brock Bowers, who's that great of an overall tight end prospect, one of the best we've ever seen, him and Kyle Pitts definitely up there, it's really hard to pass up on the opportunity of drafting him at number 10. So I will be going Brock Bowers at pick number 10 to the Jets. Do not rule out them trying to get Rome Odunze before the Bears. Do not rule them out going offensive line. Do not rule them out trading back. Who knows? There's a lot of things that I'm excited to see this draft is just like how everything's going to go. So now the Vikings, they did not trade their picks. They've got 11 and they've got 23. And, okay, this is a crazy draft pick, all right? And a lot of people are probably going to give me some hate for this because it's probably not going to happen. But this guy has been talked about so much. It could be a smokescreen. But I love him as a player. I love him as a prospect. Yes, he has the injury concern. Yes, he's maybe, I think, 24. I don't care. Michael Penix Jr. is the best arm talent in the accurate arm in the draft. And I just think that that's a guy that will thrive in Minnesota. People could see this happen. If it happens at 11, they'll be like, this is a terrible pick. They could have got him in the second round. Let me tell you this. You put him in the situation that the Vikings have, he's going to produce. He's going to be the best quarterback in the rookie season. Maybe Caleb Williams. But he could be rookie of the year in that situation easily. And he could be a great quarterback for the Vikings. They're really just a quarterback away and, really buffeting up that secondary, I would say, and the D-line, but pretty much a lot of their defense. They're really the QB and half their defense away from being a contender, which, yeah, you could probably go defensive back like a Quinyon Mitchell at 11. But I just think Penix is a great pick, and I really do think that maybe the Broncos or the Raiders, they jump the gun, they take Penix at 12 or 13. So that's why I think the Vikings go and say, hey, we know these teams have the opportunity of taking him. We like him at 23. Let's take him at 11, and we can explore our options at 23 for players that get down the board like Johnny Newton, maybe a trade up, maybe a trade back. Who knows? But anyways, number 12 now to the Broncos. They don't got a quarterback on the board. They're kind of screwed. People have been picking Bo Nix to first round. I like the Penix to first round. I don't like the Nix to first round. So I'm going to keep Nix out of the first round. Broncos are going to have to find a way to trade back into the first round, the second round if they want Bo Nix, in my opinion, because Bo Nix is going to be staying out of the first round. So now, anyways, let's get to their pick number 12. I don't think they trade back. I think there's an opportunity they do because they don't have their quarterback guy. I think they go edge rusher, though, and I think out of these two, I really like both of them, but I think they go Verse. I think Verse will be more to their liking. I think John Elway will look at him, like the rest of the front office will look at him, and they'll be like, wow, this guy's a stud, which he is. And I think he goes 12 to the Broncos. It's very, very, very possible they go corner. It's very, very possible I see one of these teams maybe trading up. If Brock Bowers is still on the board, I could see the Bengals trying to trade up to 12. But in this case scenario, we don't have anything happening. They go and get their edge rusher, which I think they desperately need. And no quarterback for the Broncos in the first round. Another team, no quarterback for you. The Oakland, man, I always call them the Oakland Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders. Sorry. I've heard the word Oakland Raiders way too much, and they're still the Oakland Raiders. Like, to me, that's the thing. They're in Vegas, but I always know them as the Oakland Raiders. So I feel like a lot of people will do that as well. Pick 13 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Can go a lot of different ways. You could see a corner go here, which I think is very possible. You could go tackle here, which is also very possible. I think that in this situation, defensive-minded head coach, you really do look at the corners and you say, hey, we've got any of the corners available for us. We could pick any of these guys, and that's something that really stands out to, I think, a lot of to Antonio Pierce. However, I think they look at these tackle prospects and they say, we can't pass up on these guys. A guy like Talise Fuaga, a guy like Olu Fashanu. I think it's going to be Fashanu. And I think it's because he's that athletic of a tackle that can play both sides. And that'll be a great fit for the Raiders. In the second round, third round, maybe you draft a guy like Michael Pratt in the third or fourth, Spencer Rattler in the third or fourth, You take a gamble, draft Jordan Travis late in the draft, who I thought was great at Florida State. You build up that protection for him at the outline. Hell, if you keep with Aiden O'Connell, there you go. You've got yourself some protection for him too. And then you can try and address the corner position in the second round when there's plenty of good second round corners. Guys like Sane Restill, Rakestraw, Tampa, Lassiter, Kyrie Jackson I really like. Even though he's this low on the board, Max Melton even could get himself a second round selection. So I got Fashanu going. And yes, they could go corner and then wait for the second round to go tackle, maybe get a guy like Morgan, Sua Mataya, maybe wait third round to get Brandon Coleman. But I just think the tackle spot is the spot they target here. So 14 to the Saints now, same thing. Their tackle spot needs help. Talise Fuaga on the board is the easy pick for the New Orleans Saints, so I'm not even going to talk about it that much. Their offensive lineman is bad. I've talked about it so many times now. The Colts at pick 15. I actually have them trading. I don't have them trading down. We're not going to, because apparently people don't fully understand in my videos with my mock drafts. The last one was a 2-round mock draft, so I understand maybe I had to be a little bit more specific in my picks and my trades. This one is a 1-round. I only do the picks in the first round swapped. There's going to be more in this trade. I'm just swapping the picks for the first round mock because it is a 1-round mock. I don't want to go in depth. There will be some other stuff in the trade, obviously. I'm just not the draft trade expert. I don't know the asking prices for everything. That is something I need to learn to get into my head a little bit more, which I'm going to have for next season. So anyways, the Philadelphia Eagles trade up because they desperately need a corner. So I think they trade up and get themselves, in my opinion, the best corner in the draft, which is a very tight race between Quinyon Mitchell and Terrion Arnold. Now, people got Quinyon Mitchell at the top of their board. I honestly think that Terrion Arnold is near the top of my board, really, really close to him. I just think Quinyon Mitchell is the number 1 corner, and he goes to the Eagles at 15 after the Colts trade back. And I think the Colts trade back because they go, hey, this team wants it here. Let's go there. Let's get a little bit of draft capital, and we can maybe turn our heads to wide receiver instead of DB. So now at 16 to the Seahawks, they could go offensive line, defensive line. I think that's the only 2 choices you really make at pick 16. And it's either Byron Murphy or Fa'atanu, in my opinion. And in this case scenario, it's going to be Troy Fa'atanu. And I think he just fits so well in Seattle. Move him to guard. You get that spot that you really do desperately need on that offensive line. And then maybe later you get another quarterback. You get a quarterback to play behind Geno or you just ride with Drew Lock. I just think Fautanu is a perfect fit, and you keep him in the city of Seattle, going from UW to the Seahawks, and he is probably one of the top 15 guys in this draft. So I think he is very underrated in this draft. Now at pick 17 to the Jaguars, there's one thing they desperately need, and that is a corner. So they're going to go Terrion Arnold at pick 17. I think he's an absolute fantastic playmaker at corner, and I think that's something Jacksonville could really utilize, is a guy who can make plays, make pass breakups, make interceptions, and that's Terrion Arnold's style of play. So not much to talk about it there, except the fact that that is a good pick for them. You could see them go D-line. I just think DB is the bigger concern. Now at pick 18 to the Bengals. Two options here, interior D-line or tackle. You have a guy like J.C. Latham that could easily go right here. You have a guy like Byron Murphy that could easily go right here. And those are the two that I really have been deciding between when it comes to pick 18 in Cincinnati. You know, they had their two guys request trades, though. They had Higgins and Hendrickson request a trade, which could cause them to maybe switch it up, go Latu for the worst case, have a draft day trade, maybe get Brian Thomas Jr. Adonai Mitchell at pick 18. In this case scenario, none of that happens. I'm going strictly off of what I think will happen in this draft. I don't think those happen immediately because they just barely requested a trade. Unless they can get some good draft picks for those guys, it's going to be Byron Murphy because both those guys are going to stay on the team in that certain situation, and the Bengals can worry about that with their round 2s and 3 selections. I think Byron Murphy is one of the best prospects in this draft. In all reality, if the Penix to 11 doesn't happen, I think he goes 11th to the Vikings because they really like Byron Murphy, and I think that's just the right pick for them. Even though Latham is such a stud, I have them going off defensive line, not offensive line. Okay. Now, pick number 19 to the Rams. They need a lot of things, but Laiatu Latu is going to fill one of their gaps. They need another edge rusher to go on the other side of Byron Young, and then you've got Kobe Turner in the middle, which a lot of people didn't like that I was picking Johnny Newton or Byron Murphy to the Rams at 19 because of Aaron Donald's retirement, which I think is a very possible thing they do if Byron Murphy is available at 18 or they want to get Johnny Newton at 19. But I think with Latu available, I think he is a fantastic player and he is going to go at pick number 19. And I think that's a great spot for him. So I'm going to have Laiatu Latu going to the Rams at 19. Now at pick 20, the Steelers could very well go wide receiver here. Now, I won't be going wide receiver because I truly do believe that if any team is going to get Brandon Ayuk, it'll be the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it will be with probably a second round pick, second and third round pick next year, fourth round pick next year, something like that. Maybe a second round pick this year, late day 2, early day 3 pick next year for Brandon Ayuk would be the probable trade. At first, I thought it would be pick 20. I think it's more going to be like a pick 51. Because of his age and contract and everything. He's going to be a free agent next season in the 2025 offseason. So I think he'd be worth a second-round pick, and I think it could very well happen on draft day today or tomorrow. So with pick number 20, the Steelers focus more on O-line, and they get themselves J.C. Latham. And I really do like the possibility of them going Mims because of getting Broderick Jones at 14 last year. But in this situation, we go J.C. Latham just because I think he's got the size and he's got the sample size and he has the time played, unlike Amarius Mims, who does have the size but doesn't have the amount of games played. So anyways, at number 21, that doesn't really matter about the game time and whatnot because they go Amarius Mims to the Dolphins. Dolphins don't care about that. They need that. They could use a right tackle and move around their O-line probably. Maybe Graham Barton here at 21 because of the guard situation. They could move him to guard. In this situation, I got Amarius Mims going 21. Now at 22, the Colts are here now. They just traded back with the Eagles, and they're going to go wide receiver and get themselves Brian Thomas Jr. to play alongside Michael Pittman Jr. Giving Anthony Richardson another weapon would be a big thing for him, and I think that's what they go with here. Even though the defensive back core isn't great, I think that wide receiver is a great pick, and especially with the trade back, Brian Thomas Jr. at 22 would be a fantastic selection. So I'm going to have him going at 22nd to the Colts, which I think is around the area he'll get drafted in those early 20s. So now I have another team trading up here. The Vikings willing to trade back because this team really needs a position that is still on the board. Once I said, not going to put any more details into it because that's not what I'm doing here. I'm just moving the first round picks around so we can get this done. I think it'll probably it'll take more than just the first round pick this year, maybe some other stuff. But the Bills trade up to 23, and they trade up to 23 to take Adonai Mitchell out of Texas because they absolutely need wide receiver after getting rid of Diggs. It's Curtis Samuel and Khalil Shakir. You have two kind of smallerish guys. Now you get Adonai Mitchell, who is a big guy, who is more of a deeper threat and a contested catch guy. And he's just like the opposite of what they have right now. So I think that's a great idea to have because Khalil Shakir is a slot guy. Curtis Samuel isn't really the type of wide receiver that Adonai Mitchell is. So I think Mitchell goes 23 because he fits what the Bills need, and he's a different wide receiver than what they have. So that is the pick at 23. Now at 24, the Cowboys could go multiple directions here. I think they could go JPJ. I think they could maybe go Tyler Guyton. They could also go Graham Barton. And out of those three guys that I really just named, I think they go Graham Barton because of his versatility. I think because Graham Barton has the ability to play tackle and the ability to play center, they'll be able to move him around, and he'll be a very eye-popping prospect for him. However, I would not be surprised if Guyton goes here at 24 because I really like Guyton as a tackle prospect for the Cowboys in particular. But I have them going Graham Barton because of that versatility. So now at pick 25, I think this guy makes a really good Green Bay Packer. It's Cooper DeJean. They need corner safety, I would say. That secondary could use a little bit of a boost, and you get a guy like Cooper DeJean who can play both corner and safety. He's very versatile on the football field, and you've also got returning power. You've got him and I believe Keyshawn Nixon, who literally was just an all-pro in returning. Two very good returners. You have your kick returner in that guy. You have DeJean do punt returning, and then also he's a great corner safety guy that you could move around your defense. So Cooper DeJean at 25 to the Packers. Now, at 26 to the Bucks, I think they go JPJ. They need a center, and they get a center with Jackson Powers Johnson. Now, his draft stock is slowly starting to trickle down. I'm wondering where he goes today. I really think 26 is a good pick for him, so we're going to stick with it to the Buccaneers. As much as I hate it because I'm a Saints fan, I hate the Bucks. But that is a good selection for them at 26. Now at 27 to the Cardinals. They need defense here. They could go two ways. Johnny Newton, Nate Wiggins, D-line corner. In this situation, I just think Nate Wiggins is that good of a player for him to not be picked at pick number 27. And so they will obviously pick him and get Nate Wiggins, a corner for their very lackluster defensive backcourt. Their very lackluster corner group. So good speedy guy to play outside corner for you. So now at 29 to the Vikings. They just traded back from 23 to 28, and they're going to pick Johnny Newton, interior D-line, who, what did I say earlier? Pick number 11, they could very well go Byron Murphy, because they really like Byron Murphy. They get a very good defensive line prospect in Johnny Newton at pick 28, I think it's great value for him. He has a little bit of an injury problem right now with his foot, but I still think he's easily a first round talent. He is a great player. So there's no way any really passes up on this guy. So now at pick 29 to the Lions, I don't think there's any world they don't pass up on a good corner. Any world that they do pass up on a good corner, sorry. And Kool-Aid McKinstry's available, they do it. They're going to jump the gun. They're going to be like, you know what? We need corner. This guy's here. Let's go get him. Chop Robinson, Darius Robinson, two very possible players to go here, but they're going to go corner, which leads to pick 30, where Chop Robinson actually goes because they really do need edge rusher because their edge rusher position is probably the biggest question on their team. So Chop Robinson, pick 30, his speed is just something you don't see very often from edge rushers. So he goes 30 to the Ravens. Now at pick 31 to the Niners, they need offensive line. I'm going to go with Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma. He is going to be a great tackle for them. They haven't drafted tackle in a long time. So I think that's a great pick. And Trent Williams he's getting near that retirement age. We don't know when he's going to retire, but that is a fantastic spot to get Tyler Guyton at pick 31. Now at pick 32, this one is where it gets a little interesting. You look at what they could do. They could go and get Ladd McConkey, Troy Franklin, get a wide receiver. I think they go to something that they need the most, which is offensive line. And I think Jordan Morgan maybe. I actually think it's going to be Kingsley Suamataia. I think Suamataia will round out the end of the first round. I think he is, honestly, could be a first-round type guy. And that is what I have the Chiefs doing. They need offensive tackle. Their tackles were probably one of the worst in the NFL this season. And yes, they have the refs on their side. Not a lot of holds called on them, but a lot of holds still on them. And he is someone who is good enough to be drafted in the first round and fits what the Chiefs need. So that'll be it for me today. Our final mock draft 11.0. Excited to see what happens in today's draft. A lot of things could happen. A lot of my mock drafts from the past, things could happen. This one as well, things could happen. Let me know what you think. What your favorite team would you hope they draft? And once again, if you liked it, like the video, subscribe for more football content as we go on. Baseball content coming on the way during the majority of the summer. I will be having a baseball internship in the summer as well, so I probably won't have that much time for videos. I'll have a lot of things to be working on. But anyways, with that being said, hope y'all enjoyed this. Have a good draft day, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.